These chives are the secret ingredient in my poppy seed dressing. Hi, I'm Kylene, and I'm the Provident Prepper. Chives are an important plant on our little homestead. They're perennial, which means that they grow back year after year. They're also an insectary, attracting beneficial insects to our garden as well as pollinators. But the thing that I like best about chives is that they're edible. In fact, that's what makes them the secret ingredient in my poppy seed dressing. In this video, I'll teach you how to make this dressing and some other things that you might want to know about how to harvest chives. Stay with us. As promised, today I'm going to teach you how to make my chive blossom poppy seed dressing. And you've got to admit, this looks incredible. And if you think it looks incredible, just wait until you taste it. There are so many plants that you grow in your garden that you might not even realize are edible. And chive blossoms are one of those. It's not just the chive stems that are edible, but the blossoms are delicious. When I harvest the chive blossoms, I like to cut it at the base. The chive blossom stem is woody, and I don't really like using those in my cooking. And then I detach the blossoms from the stems, just like this. But then I like to chop up those stems. So instead of getting rid of these or taking them over to the compost bin, I just let them decompose and form a mulch on the top of the soil. Then we want to gently remove the petals. If you harvest them first thing in the morning, you usually don't have very many bugs in them. But if you harvest them late in the afternoon like this, you'll have some little tiny bugs in them. And so you want to make sure that you wash them really well. Spring is the perfect time for an abundance of greens. And spinach is one of those things that we have just in absolute abundance in our spring garden. I like to dry spinach so that I can save it to use during the winter or freeze it. Sometimes it takes up valuable freezer space, so I don't like to do that as much. I'm not a fan of canning spinach, but that's just my personal preference. But because we have so much, we've got to find ways to go ahead and eat this and get that valuable nutrition in. And this dressing is one of the ways that we are able to liven up the greens and make them irresistible to the family. Let's face the facts. Would you rather have steamed spinach for dinner or this salad? I know, it's a close call. So we want to start with a giant bowl of freshly harvested spinach. I like to rinse it really well, and then I carefully sort out the damaged leaves. I will often find leaves in our spinach that have been attacked by leaf miners. That's not a big deal. We just cut it out, and then we either feed it to the rabbits or to the chickens, so nothing goes to waste. And then I chop up that cleaned spinach and dry it in a salad spinner. And then I transfer it to a nice serving bowl and put it in the refrigerator to chill while I make the dressing. Most of the ingredients for this recipe are shelf stable, which is great because that means that as long as you have your food stored, you can make this dressing anytime. But the chives are the part of the dressing that's not shelf stable. However, you can use dried green onions, dried chive blossoms. The dried chive blossoms are not quite as tasty as the fresh chive blossoms, but they do work and they create a beautiful color in the dressing also. You can use dried chives and dried onions. These chives are some that I just barely finished drying in our infrared solar dryer. We'll be making a video really soon on how to construct your own infrared solar dryer, but it's an incredible tool. It doesn't require any power. It uses the sun to be able to dry our fruits and vegetables. Now, I have to admit that this recipe was not originally mine. It was given to me by a friend of mine named Gary at work. And in his recipe, he uses 3/4 cup of vinegar, 1 cup oil, 1 cup sugar, 2 teaspoons poppy seeds, 2 teaspoons mustard, 1 teaspoon salt, and 2 to 3 chopped green onions. And then he likes to just shake it to mix it. Now, I needed to alter this recipe just a little bit because for one thing, I try and not use added refined sugar. And I thought that this would be the perfect recipe to take advantage of the very mild, delicate flavor of chive blossoms. So this is my version of the poppy seed dressing. I use 3/4 cup of either rice vinegar or apple cider vinegar, and I do prefer the apple cider vinegar. 1/2 cup of avocado oil and 1/2 cup of olive oil. I just prefer that flavor. Then instead of the sugar, I use 3/4 cup of honey and 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard because I like the little tiny kick that's in it. and then 2 teaspoons poppy seeds, 1 teaspoon pink Himalayan salt, and 1/3 cup of chive blossom petals. And then I blend it really well with the immersion blender instead of just shaking it. And I have found that by blending it with the immersion blender, it stays blended in the fridge for a long time. And then after it's blended, I put it in the fridge to chill. And then while it's chilling, it's time to make the candied pecans. Now you could just use slivered almonds in the recipe or something else, but oh, these candied pecans are so good. All I do is pour some real maple syrup into a little frying pan, and then I add pecans. You can use whole pecans or you can use chopped pecans, and then I just stir it over medium heat. And you can tell when the candied pecans are done because they start to look dry, kind of like what you see here. And then it's time to let them cool. As soon as the kids get a whiff of the candied pecans, they are lined up and they won't stop until they're all gone. So, I mean, I have to make sure that I hide them away so we can have them on the salad. One of my favorite simple salads contains spinach, blueberries, candied pecans, and the dressing. That's it. And it is just a delicious combination. Fresh blueberries are preferable. However, I add frozen blueberries and I don't defrost them before I mix them into the salad. If I mix them in there, by the time I'm serving it, the blueberries are just fine and it's nice and cool. You can use this dressing on any combination that you want. Pick a variety of your favorite greens. In the salad that's pictured, I just went out and harvested all kinds of greens from the yard. I harvested different kinds of lettuce and spinach and mustard greens and kale. Anything works in this salad. Arugula gives it a really nice kind of spicier flavor. Bacon bits, chicken, cheese, hard-boiled eggs, veggies, strawberries, blackberries, craisins, chopped apples, red onions, mushrooms, sliced almonds, candied nuts. Seriously, you can come up with so many different combinations of fruits and vegetables that you can put into your salad. And this dressing is just tasty and it helps you be able to eat all those greens that we know we should be eating. So be brave and get creative. Don't be afraid to try some of the things in your garden that aren't typical, like the chive blossoms. You might be surprised what delicious new creations you can come up with. This recipe is available on the providentprepper.org. On the main menu bar, just click on recipes and it will bring up all the recipes that we have so far. And I decided I would add this to the website because we have so many really fun recipes that it would be great to share. So we'll keep accumulating. This is the first one of these that I've put up. Usually I just tuck the recipes in with a regular post, but I think this is a great way to search for some recipes. A couple of YouTube videos that you might be interested in watching include Victory Garden Secrets to kind of help give you some tips on how to grow your own garden. And then creating a 3-month food supply. It's so important that you have shelf-stable foods in your home so that you can create meals from basic ingredients no matter what happens, whether it's a pandemic or something else. Having food in your own home is critically important. So that video is a great way to get you started. Well, I guess this means that my secret poppy seed dressing isn't such a big secret anymore. But hopefully this will help you and your family consume more fresh garden greens. And now for the question of the day. What's your favorite homemade salad dressing recipe? Comment below. And thanks for being part of the solution.